welcome to Tailgate Talk, brought to you by our friends at Buck Rub Outfitters in Milwaukee as bow season gets underway next weekend. Can't believe it. They are the Midwest leading bow hunting, crossbow, archery authority, everything. If you have not got your bow tuned up and got ready to go yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's going to be a little busy, but they can take care of you anytime, whether you bought your bow there or not. Again, Buck Rub Outfitters. You want to check them out, buckrubarchery.com. This is a first, by the way. I'm Sean Ritter, by the way. Eric Tasker in studio with us. Wag's out this week. We've got our first actual in-studio guest. All of our guests have always been remotely.
It's exciting.
Isn't that cool?
I know. I love it.
Going to be joined by John. Is it John Reznack?
Yeah.
See, names are always terrible. Like, you never know how to pronounce. You know what I mean?
And until you actually hear it from the person, well, it could be completely wrong.
And especially in this area, southeastern Wisconsin, where we're from, there's a lot of those Polish last names where you're like, can I buy a vowel? How do I say that? You know? So John is with Clam Pro Tackle, and they just had kind of their pro day stuff a couple weeks ago. And I know you're like, wow, it's only September. Why are we talking about ice fishing? Supply chain is like a huge thing, and they came up with all these new products, and I wanted the opportunity to talk about some of these new things because as soon as they hit the store shelves, they're probably going to be gone. So if you know about what's out there before it hits the store shelves, I think that's the benefit to you instead of waiting around till it comes out, finding out about it, and then you can't find it anywhere. A la the Mac Scent, line of Berkeley stuff last summer when it all came out and no one could find any of it.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to that a little bit later on the show. We got a new game we're going to introduce that we're going to start doing every week here on the show. Over Under is what it's called. Kind of on a little play of like, shotgun over under. It's really simple and easy. Overrated, underrated is what it comes down to and some stuff. So we're going to get to that coming up here in just a bit. And obviously, the bow opener coming up next weekend, I'm sure we'll hit some more on what's ahead with that. But what's things been looking like with you, Tasker? Now, we took last week off. So that's sorry, I'm like all over the place here. A little housekeeping. The Badgers season here, our affiliate, 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee, they run Badgers games on, obviously, Saturdays. So if it's an early Badger game, this show is going to get bumped to 6 a.m. So we'll be before the Badger pregame. And on late, like 2:30 or like any other day, Badger games will be at a normal time at 7. So if it's an early, like 11:30 or 11, whatever, Badger kickoff, we'll be at 6. But if you don't catch it like actually on the radio, we've got the long form podcast. It's always up on the iHeartRadio app. You can download it, listen to it on your own leisure anytime as well. So, all right, housekeeping's out of the way. Tasker, how you been?
Good, man. I think we're 7 days away now, 6 days away now, something like that, I guess. So, I'm just pumped. I've been shooting a lot, which is good. I was just out at Buck Rub yesterday. Went through some challenges with trying to change up my release.
Let's talk about that because I heard you had a pretty expensive day the other day.
It was like $45, I think. One Maxima XRZ with a knock into the woods. One into the woodwork, which just very, very slightly cracked the housing.
Oh, no.
Up at the tip where they glue in the insert. And so that was not good. All because I thought, 3 weeks before the bow season opener, I'm really interested in trying a hand release or a thumb release as opposed to an index release. A couple things with that, which I've already griped and complained about. One thing that's tough with that is that it torqued my string. So I didn't like that. So I kept shooting left no matter what was happening. Okay. No matter what I did, no matter how I adjusted my string. And I was kind of all over the place. So that was not great. And then when I sent 2 arrows elsewhere from the target, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go back to old trusty index release. And then I went and I shot yesterday, and I mean, until I got my Matthews this year, I was very nervous about shooting. I was like, I'm never going to shoot anything over probably 30 yards anyways. I felt really, really good at 40 yards as the back wall at Buck Rub, and I was happy with that. So I plan on trying to get out there a couple times next week and do the 3D course, just so that it's actual live targets, whatever. So I've been just spending a lot of time with that. I mean, we're going to get out for opening weekend and then take a couple weeks off. But I'm excited to see what's on our cameras. First and foremost, we have not looked at them yet. And then just to get out in the woods and see what's going on out there. I mean, it's exciting. Been listening to a lot of podcasts about hunting. So, I mean, that's pretty much everything for me.
You bow hunt at all, John?
Just teal.
Just so you do like just like the bird hunting and stuff. You don't do any bow.
I used to do some bow hunting back in the day. With kids and everything like that. And my brother, he played college football, so I kind of gave that all up when he started playing ball and traveled with him and cheered him on and all that kind of stuff, supported him. Just kind of fell off the bandwagon a little bit for the bow hunting. I still do the gun hunting for deer and stuff like that, but more of the bird hunting, ducks, all that kind of stuff. So.
Which is funny bring that up because last weekend I got a message sent to me from John, who was out teal hunting. How close of a shot was that you took on that? I'm not sure if that was a bird that you sent me a picture of. Or...
It was a little bit of everything. Little ground teal for you. So it was about a 10-yard shot. My buddy and we opened up on it. And I picked up the bird from the water, and it was there was nothing left.
Wow.
Nothing left. It was...
it's tenderized already.
Yeah, very tenderized.
I've done that to a pheasant once, where it was literally a head and a tail is all that was there. It was a rooster that... it was wounded and hit the ground, and the dog was chasing around, and we kept chasing, and like it got to the point where I was chasing it in between a row of whatever we were down in the field, and I could literally step on its tail, and it was still like squirt out from under me, and I just got tired of chasing this damn thing around, so I pulled up my gun thinking like I'm gonna quick swing through and swat, and I should just get the head and put it. Yeah. No, of course you don't just get that. I got everything, but like literally it was a center mass body shot from probably 10 yards.
Yep.
There was literally a rooster head and a tail left laying there. It was just horrible. Never ground swatted a pheasant. Never ground swatted a pheasant. Any pheasant owner was like, what in the hell are you doing? Oh, yeah. I last weekend in our off weekend, we were off. I spent some time, my family and I, we rented a place up on Lake Winnebago. Went up, did a little fishing. I learned a valuable lesson when it comes to the outdoors. Don't overdo things, playing cribbage and having beverages the night before you plan to go out.
Buffalo Trace.
And when you're a kayak angler like me, who got into the sport to be more active with it too. Like I'm not a guy that runs the motors and all that stuff, which some people do on their kayaks. That's you. That's your choice. I like being active with it. Decided I want to go about 3 miles north and fish up there. So that's about an hour pedal for me. Well, when the wind is one direction and you make that hour pedal into the wind, and you get up there and the wind makes a swing on you and is then in your face to head back, that sucked. And the wind picked up, and it was just, I had a hell of a time trying to stay. Like, I literally think at one point when I was trying to stand up and just cast and, work some grass, it would move me almost 100 yards in about 90 seconds. It was insane how, it was a terrible wind, and that body of water is so shallow, and it gets kind of rocky. Anyway, I was in Lake Winnebago. I've fished a ton there. I've had a lot of success, through my years there. This particular area of Lake Winnebago is not something I've fished a lot. I've done a lot of the north end and some on the western shore of the lake. Eastern shore. Yeah, I get my directions all mixed up. But we were, between Fond du Lac and Oshkosh on that southern end, where it's a lot shallower for a long ways, a lot of grass down there, and
got to find the rock piles down there.
And that's just it. You got to go off and try and find that. It's, the rock piles are all buried out in that 12 to 15 feet of water. I mean, Winnebago only gets 26 feet deep at its deepest. I mean, most of that lake is all 12 feet at the most.
Yeah. Right.
So you're saying you got your fitness in then? I mean, you intentionally went into the wind, and then we're very thankful that you were into the wind on the way back.
It was about an hour, like I said, each way. I had a pounding headache when I got back. I literally looked at my wife, and I said, I need either a beverage or ibuprofen or death. I mean, I've taken those are my choices. Oh, it was miserable, but it was a fun weekend. It was a fun time. Anytime you get out on the water, you know me. I love doing it. I love fishing. It was just all for fun. I didn't film. I didn't do anything the entire time. It was just going out and having some fun. So
yeah,
it's your alone time.
Exactly,
Yep.
and that's what my wife. I go when I got back. I go, even if the fishing kind of sucked, it was hard. Things didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Blah 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 blah. I was still out there. I got an amazing picture of the sunrise, which was really cool from that angle. The sun coming up with the windmills. In front of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the photo's on our Instagram.
Is it?
At On the Tailgate. I think I might have posted, or it's either that, or I know I posted it on mine. Which, by the way, I changed the Instagram handle. I don't know. Did you catch that, Tasker?
I did. Yeah. How is that going?
I thought about it, and I was like, the more and more things are going on, my side project stuff, all I'm working on, this whole on-air Ritter thing, that's like a radio. It doesn't make sense, and so I just switched it to the real Ritter, as in real, as in fishing reel, because I think it better fits the content that I share. Here's something that's at On Air Ritter, and it's all a bunch of fishing type content. You're like, well, what in the hell? It doesn't make any sense. So I just kind of did a little rebrand, so to speak. So
I am
King's also
scrolling quite a ways back.
Is it
and
not
there's nothing else
It's not
besides hunting, fishing,
on
outdoors.
on my Instagram.
Yeah. No, it's there. It is there. I was just thinking, like, in terms of your...
So I know on Instagram it makes it hard to zoom in, but like if you zoom in, you can see the like windmills. It was the most gorgeous thing in the world, and I was like, oh man, this is I just want to sit and just enjoy this view. I was sipping my coffee, slowly pedaling myself out there, and it was like the best, you know. And anytime you think about walking to the woods in the morning, you know, you're getting on the lake first thing right away. It's always that like excitement, anticipation of that new day, the new opportunities, the new possibilities. What could be? What fresh hell awaits you when you like, you know, when you shoot into the woods and miss, or you know, whatever. But that's you know what being in the outdoors is all about. So
Well, I've gone back quite a ways, and there's nothing but fishing
you're
on your
looking at my
Instagram. So
Instagram?
you're right. It makes sense.
yeah, it just
So-
you know you got to go with what makes. I'm trying to think what's the everything is pretty much outdoors focused.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's just your brand. That makes sense.
Hey, look, here's the wonderful
So-
video that we keep referencing here on the show, especially when Wags is here, about, you know, when shooting and practicing and warming up for a season to shoot from the positions that you're going to be in, a la
Right.
turkey. And I had the limb of my bow clip me on the knee while I was sitting down. That one's one I think Wags is always going to remember. But yeah, I'm curious what Wags is feeling. You know, he's been really busy with getting things set up on his land, and you know, he's all super excited about his new Reznack blinds that he's got set up on his property. And
Yeah. Yeah, he sent a couple pictures of the bucks that he's chasing this year. He's got some nighttime photos. I don't think he's got any daytime photos yet. So, you know, hopefully one of these days he'll start getting some daytime action on his cameras, and hopefully it's just in time for next weekend.
All right, so got to talk about a couple more things here yet this morning. I want to talk about, we mentioned it on the show a couple weeks ago, deer and COVID. Deer liver. Do you eat it? Do you not? And a ban that was put on that. We'll get to that. Some DNR reminders for bird hunters. And before we play over under, I think we need a king update. If you're not familiar with the legend of King, King is the giant 10-point buck that walks around our broadcast facility. We've had many sightings, and just what the latest one is. I am Sean Ritter, Eric Tasker in the studio, and joined by special guest John Reznack. Going to talk about some ice fishing stuff before the show's over. I know you're going, what in the hell, ice fishing? It's not even bow season for whitetails. It's going to be before you know it. And supply chain, supply issues. They dropped a bunch of new product, and some of it's pretty cool, so I want to be able to share that with you. So we got one of the guys from Clam, one of their pro staffers, to share some of that info. We'll get to that coming up here in a bit. But King, we need a King update. The famous whitetail buck that we've mentioned here in the show. Wags blew his mind a couple weeks ago.
He was so mad at us because we hadn't told him about that. We haven't gone shed hunting. We haven't done any of that stuff. And it was like this mystery that he's never even known about. But I haven't seen him. You know, every morning that I drive in now, I drive very slowly over that bridge where I stopped and I saw him.
Yep. So if you're not familiar with King, this is a big 10-point buck that's been around our broadcast facility. I nicknamed him King. Was it early this year or late last year? Because he's got just, it looks like the most perfect symmetrical crown that you could ever see with just the tallest tines. I mean, it is just one of the most beautiful whitetails I've ever seen. And we've observed him and seen him a few times over the last now 3 years. So he's, you know, we've kind of seen the growth and seen the progress of him. And I've never understood this whole naming of deer thing until this particular deer. Now I'm like, okay, I get it. When you keep seeing the same deer over and over again.
Yeah.
And so that's where I just dubbed King. We stick with it. Tasker, you got a great shot of him a couple weeks ago. That's why you mentioned seeing him near the that bridge.
Yeah, I had like a 2-minute standoff with him that I almost ran a red light for, but I did not. And yeah, I mean, it was so cool. So just the bridge right here on Beloit.
Yeah.
I saw him as I was coming through the lights, and I was like, I need to get through this light. I just need to get through it. So he was just right, maybe 35 feet off of the bridge into the marshy area there. And yeah, it was like a 2-minute standoff, just eye to eye. He winked at me at one point, I think, just saying, "Gotcha, sucker. You're never going to come get
Whistle
me."
a little something to you. Like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, big boy.
Hey, big boy. But yeah, so now I drive really slow every time that I drive through there, and I find myself like steering through the wood lines as I drive past the Y. So, but
You're not driving in the dark like I am.
I know. Now it's starting to be darker in the morning.
Update, 4:48 a.m. He's out moving.
Oh, man.
I caught him. I got from away. He was right next to my vehicle again and pulled up to him. Got a pretty blurry picture because, okay, I've got an iPhone, right? The iPhone 12, and it works on the stupid Face ID thing. You don't think about it. The Face ID does not want to work so well in the dark.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to whip my phone to get a picture. I'm trying to unroll my window at the same time. I can't get the Face ID to work. I finally get typed in a password. I realize as I snap the photo, he's already walking. I unrolled my back window of my vehicle, not my front window. Oh. So it's kind of a blurry shot. But it's a decent picture of him still. That is on our Instagram, @OnTheTailgate, if you want to see the picture of King in the latest update. But I'm sure pretty soon we'll have him run around the field. I hope so. Behind us. He's been right here.
There's been a number of does out back there, unless there's one fawn that's out there that, maybe it just doesn't have any antler growth. But there's definitely 2 adult does that are walking around back there and a little one. So, I mean, that's always cool just to see that. And then when I came in this morning, I saw there's like your coop of turkeys that's out there that is out there almost every morning now.
It's like clockwork. They're out here running around.
Just right outside the window, too.
Yeah. Unreal.
There's got to be, 20?
And that's just it. The size of the flock has gotten bigger and bigger. So it started out that they obviously were still split up, and there was kind of like a little hen grouping of 2 hens and their little poults. And then you had kind of like 1 pair of jakes together, and then it became 4. And now they've got a full frat house. I mean, there's like 8, Jake/Toms. Next year some of them will all be, full-grown Toms at this point that are out here walking together. And now you've got, I think it's 6 hens and all their poults. So it's quite the flock. Yeah, it's quite the flock of turkeys that are walking around here.
It's fun to see.
Just imagine for all the homeowners around here if they got them roosted up in their yard, walking out in the middle of the night or something like that. Yeah, spooked real bad.
Yeah.
Turkeys getting out of a tree sounds like a helicopter.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
Because you're not used to walking in the woods at night, and something flying over the top of you, it spooks you every time, even though you expect
without a doubt.
Every time.
Yeah.
All right. John, do you eat deer liver?
No.
Okay.
We wanted to, but never had the opportunity. Well, I shouldn't say never had the opportunity. Just never pulled the trigger on it. Yeah. Heart all the time.
Yes.
But
most underrated part of deer is the heart. Tasker, you
I don't know if I have. I haven't. I will say I haven't, because otherwise I would probably remember that.
All right. Well, if you are a deer liver lover, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources now says that their statewide monitoring effort says you're free to go back eating your deer liver. Remember, they put a ban on it. There was a situation they're worried about. It was mainly around the Marinette County area.
Okay.
They were looking at the PFAS levels, and that's kind of like one of those chemicals that's used in like nonstick pans and all this stuff. Well, there was a fire around the Marinette area, and they think from some of that some of the deer in that area were going to have high levels, and they're trying to figure out whether it was from the fire or what it was. So, it's how your liver's a giant filter. So they wanted to check all that stuff out first. So they said, don't eat deer livers. Well, now they came back this year and said all their tests come back, and of the 32 liver samples collected from 32 different counties, none of them showed elevated levels of that. So you're safe to go about your deer liver consumption if that's something you choose. Liver's not the first thing I'm choosing. It's not. I mean, I don't know.
I'll still take a backstrap any day. Just go for the good stuff right away.
Growing up in the Bay and shooting diver ducks, like, to me, a goldeneye, that's about as close to liver as you get. It tastes pretty livery. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if I'll eat that, I don't need to actually have liver. So we're going to get into over under, a new game that we're going to start here on the show. We're going to do this every week. It's overrated, underrated. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I've just got a couple of things I'll throw out there. All you need to do is say whether it is over or under, as in overrated or underrated. All right?
I'm nervous for this.
All right, John, you're in on this too with us.
All right,
we'll start with you, Tass. You can go with this first one. Smell of a swampy marsh. Overrated, underrated?
Ooh, that's underrated. I love it.
Yeah, because I would say under. Because it reminds me of a lot of different things. I mean, I feel like sometimes that just smell. I mean, I like playing golf, so it kind of smells like that because there's so much of that adjacent to golf courses. So I love that smell. But then also it just gives you that feeling. I mean, if you're smelling that, you obviously need to be like outdoors. You need to be in the woods. You need to be close by all that nature. So I would say underrated.
John?
Definitely under. Yeah, love that smell. if you definitely want to smell it, try to go out and find some swamp to go duck hunt in, because there's like no water out there, so it's really really pungent.
That's for me. It's a nostalgia thing for me, where I would say underrated. Like, I want to say overrated because I mean it is kind of a stank smell, but there's that nostalgia of being a young kid and getting into waterfowling that I will always. And I started hunting marshes and swamps and stuff and trudging in, you know, as a 16-year-old kid before I was hunting fields and stuff. So it just there's something like about that smell. All right, self-checkout lanes. Overrated, underrated?
I say underrated. I mean, I do that all the time. And I don't understand why people wait in line.
It's a little bit of both for me. I used to come from that background back in high school and college and stuff like that. Worked for a grocery store and worked both the register and the self-checkout. I'm going to stay neutral on that one.
Yeah, you probably had to deal with all the people that could never figure it out.
You're the cashier.
Yeah.
So you gotta know your codes and stuff like that. You gotta, the stickers on the produce, they have the produce codes on there.
Yeah.
So just type that in. But I don't know. I kind of think they're overrated. I like that one-on-one contact with with the customers and things like that. And you get to know a lot of really cool people. And with being a fisherman and stuff like that, and the small talk, you get to know your customers, and next thing you know, is you're getting fishing spots from some of your good customers. So it's a win-win.
Yep.
Please place item on the bagging area. Please remove unwanted item. Please.
I think they've gotten a lot better with that, though, because it used to be all like very specifically weighted. I think they've kind of gotten away with that now, because they know people like move stuff around, or you got to take something out to put something different in the bag.
The whole thing is a scale.
Yeah.
Right.
So even the bagging area, that's a scale as well, too. And then there's also volume buttons on there, too. So look at the bottom of the screen, and you can turn down the volume.
Have either of you noticed that outdoor sporting goods stores do not have those?
Oh, because they would have a terrible theft problem.
I'm shocked of that, though. Like, that they don't have anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you check it, you still have to put it on the scale thing. But it's just one of those things. I'm like, you've noticed there's no outdoor store that has that.
Yeah. I'm not surprised by that. I worked at Shields in college, and I mean, our area, the area I worked in, was right next to our theft prevention area, and I mean, you would not be shocked by how many people are already stealing things. If there was just an opportunity to have something like that where you can try and like scan stuff, I would not be surprised.
I had a lady at Festival Foods in Fond du Lac last weekend as I was checking out, and my son was in the cart, and he likes to throw things in the cart. Well, there's like a bag of potato chips, and I'm like, let's not have potato dust. So I threw it in the bottom of the cart. She was staring at me like a hawk, of like wondering of whether or not I was paying for this or what I was. I'm like, listen, lady, I'm not stealing a bag of potato chips. If I'm stealing anything, it's the frickin' bison ribeyes. Okay, I'm stuffing those in my pants like every other criminal. I'm not going to be worried. Like, seriously. Oh, it was crazy.
You wear your blazer in and you just tuck it in the breast pocket.
Don't steal things. I never steal things. I've never done it. Don't ever do it. All right, one last thing to wrap up over under. Frozen microwave mac and cheese. I know one of the answers I'm getting here.
Oh, that's for sure underrated.
Thank you.
For sure underrated. For a quick pinch, for sure. Especially since I got kids and stuff like that. Oh, it's a lifesaver sometimes.
It's like a gourmet meal in my house. The little Velveeta cups, man. I swear it's all the kid wants to eat.
Yeah. Well,
Tasker, you want to just go ahead and take the floor here with this?
I'm gonna go ahead and say underrated.
I believe it was this topic of frozen mac and cheese that led to a 5-minute conversation about hot sauce and mustard on the last show.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, whatever that was. Yeah, I mean, that's my jam. I love that stuff. So it was funny because then the next week, not even telling my dad about that, I think I sent you a picture. I was over there helping them with some stuff, and he's like, oh, well, if you're coming over, I'll get some dinner stuff and whatever. Sure enough, there it is.
Man. All right. That is it. Over, under. Yay. We all survived. Everybody's winners, all that. We're going to talk more with John here from Clam Pro Tackle, and ice fishing right around the corner. Yes, it is right around the corner. Don't worry. Some new products they got released, and all kinds of other randomness. Coming up next right here as Tailgate Talk continues. So the latest CDC guidelines recommend gathering outdoors. What a better way to enjoy time outside than archery? Whether it's practice for bow hunting or just shooting for fun, go see my friend Kaz and his knowledgeable team at Buckrub Archery in Pewaukee. I got my bow there. I shoot there. In fact, my wife's even gotten into archery with me, and she's just as excited to have a new thing we can do together. Buckrub Archery is your locally owned and operated one-stop shop designed for archers, where you can test any bow in stock before you buy, and they won't be undersold on any bow or crossbow. Plus, all come with full warranty and the personal touch service you'll only get at Buckrub Archery. Stop in and see what I'm talking about off I-94 on Silvernail Road, or look them up at buckrubarchery.com. This is Tailgate Talk. I am Sean Ritter, Eric Tasker with Wags out this week in studio, joined by our first live in-studio guest, not remotely, John Reznack of Clam Pro Tackle, one of the pro staff members over there. And real quick, just like background, how did you get involved with Clam and get in this whole thing? And they find, like, how does that go? Because I know there's a lot of people that are ice fishers, just fishermen in general, like, I want to be a pro staff, and how do I get involved? And what's the, like, how did that whole process happen for you?
So it was, it's a long story. So been in the fishing industry for a very, very long time. Shortly after I graduated from high school, I started fishing tournaments to keep up with my competitive nature and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't until I got out of the fishing industry, because I used to be a market researcher for a company called Fishing Hotspot Maps. You pull up their maps and all the writing on there. That's what I did.
Very familiar with that. That used to be like that was the leading thing. You bought hotspot maps before.
Exactly.
Now we've got, I talk about me with my Navionics app right on my phone.
Right.
Like it's not needed.
So they actually have a partner company that's similar to Navionics. It's called Fishity. And that it's a social media site.
That,
Super, super cool. So they take all the fishing hotspot maps and overlay it with Google Images or Google Earth and go from there. You can waypoint your site, put your points, put your fishing diary and stuff in there. So I was working there, and shortly after I left that company, I got into the financial world. I work in finance and things like that. So my boss, he at the time was part of the Clam Pro staff. He decided that he wanted to move back down to Florida. That's where he came from to open up this branch and things like that. And then he said, "Hey, John, I'm going to have Matt contact you from Clam. Would you want to work for, take my spot?" And that's kind of how it all happened and fell in place. And I work at Cabela's 2 days a year in December when they have their big ice fishing sale, and kind of just promote Clam and promote ice fishing in general. So that's how kind of got headhunted, kind of got picked a little bit for it, and referred. So
biggest thing that people new into or wanted that don't understand is it's not just like a, hey, so-and-so gives me free crap. Like, you still have to work. Like, you literally have to put in the work. The pro staff people are the ones that the company utilizes to work all the outdoor shows, to be there. And that's your job, is to, like, what you're doing here today.
Yeah.
To talk about
your
product. You're
selling the product. You're selling the sport. You're trying to get other people involved with it. Because that's the biggest thing is, the uniqueness of ice fishing is it's not, nationwide. It's only in the ice belt. It's only in areas that create ice.
Right.
So it's always trying to get the new experiences and the new people into the sport. It's getting the young kids out. It's a very easy way to get young kids out and fishing because you don't have to have a big boat.
So I started.
Yeah.
Extra limit. That's who I was. On the Bay of Green Bay perch fishing. I was extra limit. I was 4 years old. And it didn't take me too long to figure that out. But
yeah. Well, and the nice thing about that, too, is that, it's not like they have to sit there and watch a bobber constantly and, like, go back and forth. And, like, Ritter, for your little one, you can break snacks and stuff, and you can just, like, they can just sit there. They can be warm. They can do all of this stuff and be, like, in this protected thing. Yeah, that's just such a great way.
The debate is whether this year is the first year that I get him out on the ice or whether I wait one more year. We're still kind of on the fence of, like, what we want to do, where he's at with things. Like, I just took hhim out fishing for his first time.
Yeah.
And call me psycho, but I took him out fishing for the first time in my freaking kayak.
Yeah.
Which, again,
psycho.
I think I even said that in the episode that's on my YouTube channel that I posted about that, was that, like, not every kid can do that. Like, I don't, no one should ever, like, see that and expect, like, I could take my kid out. Like, not every kid is built for that. I've had my son out on my boat just paddling around and got, he's used to it and enjoy. So he knows how to handle himself in that situation. And that was the way he wanted, I want to fish with Daddy's boat. So, like, do you want to fish? No, I want to fish in Daddy's boat. Okay. You've shown your response. Right. We can do it.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. It takes certain kids to be able to do it. Me as a kid, I don't know that I'd have been able to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like I'd gotten bored and been like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
He wanted to keep going. What's not shown in that video, in that episode, is, like, we end it where, like, we stopped and went, like, swimming for a bit. And that was after, like, an hour of being out, like almost an hour and a half. We got back in the boat and we fished for like 2 hours after that. And awesome. He didn't want to get out.
That's awesome.
That's so great.
Because he fell in love with, like, just he didn't actually catch a fish. Dad was catching the fish. But what he liked is I would catch a fish and give it to him for him to release. So it was always,
That's
Daddy,
perfect.
catch another fish for me to release.
Yeah.
So that's where he really got into that. And ice fishing, perfect example. You can catch a fish or a tip up, and kids can see it, and great introduction.
You're not limited by 18, 20 feet for your boat length. You're limited to the whole lake.
Right.
You can run around and do all that kind of stuff. So that's how I got involved. I was 3 years old when we went ice fishing for the first time. I remember we were on Tishigan. We got pictures of it. I was just holding fish, and I just remember my dad pulling me, on our sled.
Yeah.
And that was it.
With
and
the rest of the gear.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those where, my son's getting to that age where, do I make that decision? Do I introduce him to ice fishing this year, or do I wait one more year? The way I ice fish and things like that, I don't have a shack. I don't fish in shacks. That's just how I fish. I'm hole hopping the whole time. If I drill 100 holes in a day, that's typical for me.
Wow.
So it's one of those where, do we introduce them and just keep hole hopping and keep moving around, catch a bunch of fish? When I bring fish home, he's right there, face in the bucket. Hey, I want to see these fish. I want to touch them and all that. So maybe this is the year that we get them out there. So
I do the shack. I've got my flip over Frable that I still run and gun with that, but I like having my shack because I treat it like a boat. It's what carries all my stuff. It's my sled to carry, and I've just got it there if I need the windbreak or a quick escape out of the way, or sometimes I just get out there and I just want to set tip ups and have one jig pull, and I'm not worried about jigging. I'm more worried about the tip ups are out there. This is just kind of more of a relaxing to just be outside type thing. It's kind of nice to have. Last winter I was out there at one point, and I was watching pregame. I think it was before the Packers NFC Championship game. I sat on the ice watching the Packers pregame coverage, just tip ups out, just hanging in my shack, just enjoying life, just relaxed. It's kind of my break away from life, and being a dad and busy. I mean, you know what that's like, being a busy dad and everything. And sometimes you just need that little 4 hours of sanity to just chill out.
It's one of those things. Every year I fight myself. Do I buy a flip over? Because I have a hub shack. It's 4 years old, and I think it's been used 3 times. I just don't use it that often.
Yeah.
And if I do, it's, I'm taking a group of friends out or somebody that hasn't been ice fishing before, and I take it up as a shelter for them to go into if they get cold. It's a thermal, so I can put a heater in there, and it's super, super warm. And with me, I'm just one of those kind of guys that I fished in -10 before. I just put my jacket on, put my sled, carry all my stuff and just go. And I just ignore everything else. But it's one of those, every year, do I get a new, flip over? What do I do? And then every year I talk myself out of it.
I mean, Clam's the originator of the flip overs. Dave Gens.
Dave Gens. I mean,
God that he is in the ice fishing world.
He's the godfather of ice fishing. It's a cool experience to be on the Clam team, and then you go to Clam Pro Day where you have everybody from the ice belt, everybody from Canada, Alaska, all that stuff. And then Dave is there. I don't get starstruck all that often. And the first time I saw Dave, I was like, there he is. There he is. It was like a shining light and a halo over his head. And I'm like, oh my God, that's Dave. David, I was shaking. I'm like, it's so nice to meet you, and introduce myself. And then there's Jason Mitchell right next to him. I'm like, hey, Jason, I contacted you for Lake Sakakawea when we updated that map. How are you doing? And I wasn't even fazed by him, but here's Dave, and I'm just like,
which that says it all. I mean, you say the name Jason Mitchell, most people are like, wow, you know what I mean? And then that
Dave Gens is
the level.
Yeah, Dave Gens is right there, and you're just like, you're stumbling over your words like, oh man, it's a cool experience to be there and learn about the product and see all the new stuff and give your input on it. And that's really cool about Clam, is they take our input.
That is
from everybody. So
I agree with you, John. That is one thing that I've seen of a lot of other manufacturers that maybe they do it, but we just don't see it. Mm-hmm. Clam makes it known that they invite all their people in to come see it. It's not like everyone else that does the iCast,
right? Where
we unveil something at iCast, and everyone's just going to be there anyway.
Right.
They create their own event for their people to come and put their hands on it and play with it and get to know it.
It's a full day event there, so it starts at 8:00 in the morning, 8:30, 9, somewhere in that time frame, and then you immediately go in there and you talk about sales. You get to meet the CEO of Clam and the creators and the VPs and everything like that. So you get to meet them. You get to hear that side of it. And then you go into the new product, and then you learn about the product. And then after that, they release you to physically play with it. You get to see all the new plastics that are out there, all the new spoons and the jigs and the shacks and all the new stuff. And you get to see how they modify it. That's the best part about ice fishing is, You can take a great product and make one little turn to it and just completely blow everything out of the water and make it the best. Yeah. And that's what Clam does every single year is they take great products and make them that much better by just constantly redoing just little stuff. You know, the little things are what make something that much better.
My favorite Clam product they've come out with in the last 5 years is that ice. It's the live well thing that they have.
The live well.
It's like a little zip up like mesh pouch that's got foam around the top so it would float, but and it's Velcro, so you open it up and put your fish in it. I use it ice fishing. I use it in my kayak.
You don't have
the thing is freaking awesome. Right. It is so versatile. Yeah. It's amazing. I love the zipper on the side that you don't have to like dig through and pull fish out. Like those old like wire baskets. Those things suck. Yeah. You unzip it, dump the fish out. I even take it where I'll scale my fish inside the bag. Like I'll unzip it and scale them inside there. All the scales stay in the bag.
Yep.
Super. I mean, I'm like, Clam, brilliant.
Yeah. And you don't have to fillet frozen fish. I mean, if you've ever been in that situation, filleting frozen fish, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. So.
All right, John, you mentioned it. New products. What are some of the new things coming out from Clam in the ice fishing world that we should keep our eyes peeled for when they hit the store shelves so that we don't miss our chance to have some of the best new stuff?
Yeah, so definitely a lot of new stuff this year. They got the swirl dropkick jig. It's just a revamp of the dropkick jig that Dave Gens designed. It shows up on your Vexlar, your flasher units, or fish finders. Shows up super easy on there. It's got a really good kicking action to it. So that's going to be super popular this year.
That's one of the tungsten jigs. It's
tungsten.
Kind of horizontal.
Horizontal. It's just got a square head on it. Really cool action to it when you rig it up with live bait or, even plastics and things like that in there. Couple new shacks this year. We got the X100, which is a solo single-man shack. It's on the X Factor. So you have heavy-duty poles, heavy-duty sled. That's going to be, if you're pulling it with an ATV or snowmobile, it's a little too heavy for me to pull, but, my sled only weighs like 30, 40 pounds total with all my stuff in there. So when I talk about lightweight and moving a lot, I'm lightweight and moving.
Do they still have the system for putting up the poles that works with the gloves? Like you don't have to push on that little tiny push pin that always seems to pinch your damn finger? I remember Clam got that too, where they've got like, it's a bigger grip where you just grip it and pull it up instead of having to push in that little pin.
Yep, and then to collapse it, it's the same way. You just push the lever on there and it all falls right down. So they got some new bibs, some new ice gear. So your float suits, they also have, instead of bibs, they also have pants as well too. So that's super popular with like the snowmobilers and things like that. So they brought that over into the ice fishing industry as well too with pants instead of bibs.
And a lot of guys that are ice fishing their snowmobile gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see that all the time.
I mean, I gun hunt in my ice fishing stuff. So, I mean.
I'm a big bibs fan. My ice fishing bibs, my float suit bibs that I have, I've used those fishing in Canada, spring fishing, anytime it's, cold like that. Because a lot of times when I'm out, I'm in a sweatshirt, just my bibs.
Yep.
Because if I'm popping in and out of the shack or even if it's warm, I'm moving around and stuff. So I rarely ever wear a full coat. I'm just in a thermal with a sweatshirt over it and the bibs. So
yeah, that's kind of what I do. Under Armour 4.0, base layer it up and then just
same thing I run.
It's one of those where if you don't have it, you might be a little cold. But it's super simple. I try to pack as light as possible, and I just wear my Rise float suit. So it's not top of the line float suit for them. It's not the new Defender suit that's out there. It's just a good all around suit. So if you layer the right way underneath it, you don't really have to worry about getting the extreme suit unless you're up in like Canada or northern Minnesota where it's cold all the time.
Are they making any suits that aren't float anymore? I mean, I remember a couple years ago when that was, float suits were like the rare thing, and now it's like everybody's starting to get into it, which is nice because I've always walked out wearing my inflatable.
Yeah. It's just an extra level of protection.
Exactly. To have it just built into your coat and know it's there, it's like, this is brilliant to make it into everything.
They have, we have two non-float suits, and one is a brand new, it's a revamp of the Edge suit. So it's the Edge X suit. Super, super cool. If you're looking just to get a basic suit, that's the one to get. It's got thermal snare fleece in there. It's a long nap fleece that you'll see cross-branded into the Blackfish gear that they have.
Okay.
Super, super warm. It's inside my Gale hoodie that I wear. Super warm. It's a non-float suit, and then they have the Extreme suit as well. That's another non-float suit, but that's big down jacket on the inside. It's got a removable down jacket in there. extra thinsulate in there. It's super, super warm. So I know a couple guys in northern Minnesota, Lake of the Woods area, they have that suit because it's cold all the time up there. So,
all right, what else tackle-wise?
Tackle, they got the new spoon that's out there. I know you and I were talking about that.
Yes, that's what I was hoping to get it, because this is the thing. It was kind of the first thing that I saw Clam post on one of their socials before Pro Day, and I was like, ooh, spoon. I like this. What is this all about?
It is the ribbon leech spoon. It is super, super cool. It's for bigger fish, so it's going to be your lake trout, your walleyes, things like that. But the cool part about it is when you drop the spoon down, the hook actually goes on the backside of it, and they got a little flicker tail in there, and it waves back and forth. It's awesome. In the
original
water.
leech spoon, I'm a big fan of that. I thought that was a great spoon when that thing came out. It was for fishing walleyes and whatnot.
Absolutely fantastic. Even so I'm a big pan fisherman when it comes to ice fishing. I don't do as much walleye fishing. So when they came out with the panfish leech flutter spoon, it was all right. I found my new spoon. So because there's a couple spoons that I use that my buddies and I we call it the Reznack. It's called a Rembrandt. If you can find them,
good luck.
If you can find it, it's
going to be at a garage sale.
Yeah, sale or in the back of a tackle shop. You really got to look for them. But it's certain sizes, and down here in southeastern Wisconsin, on one lake in particular, it's super popular. Or at least I've caught a lot of fish on them, and then I just have to hand them out to my buddies because you can't find them anywhere really in that size. But with that leech flutter spoon, though, the panfish one, knocked it all out. So swap out the trebles on there, or cut off some of the feather that's on there, and just gives it a little bit different action. And some new stuff. So
that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some of that. And that's so again, if you're listening, you're like, oh, why are you talking ice fishing? It's opening of bow season next weekend. Well, because remember last year there's shortages in supply chain. We had Brian Keller, who runs the Real Shot. A friend of mine was on. We've talked about it a few times, and the shortages and what they've dealt with, and working in the tackle industry of just getting product into stores. That it's going to be the same thing even going through this year. So all these new products that are coming out, probably the supply that the store is going to get of this product is what they're going to have for the season. So it's going to hit the shelf, and that's all they have. Once it's gone, it's gone. And so you thought it was beneficial to kind of get the word out there and let you know what's coming.
Yep.
If you don't follow Clam and don't follow these manufacturers as closely, as we get towards winter, this is the stuff that you might want to snag up while you still have the chance.
Yeah, definitely. If you see it, buy it. I mean, being a fisherman, that's kind of what I do year round. If I see something I've never seen before, I'm going to buy a bunch of them. But definitely this year for ice fishing wise, you see it, buy it right away, because 2 weeks from now it might not be there anymore. It was like Silkies last year from Clam.
Yep.
Super, super popular. When I worked at Cabela's for those 2 days, I went back the next day and half of the stack was all gone. Super. It's just you look at it and it's just a little rubber ball with a bunch of silk strands in there. And you're like, what? This isn't going to catch any fish. And the next thing you know is you start rigging with it and you start playing around with it. Oh, it's completely different. You can rig it with live bait on there and it just gives extra flair. It holds scent really well. So a couple tricks is throwing it in like your little chew can with your waxworms and spikes and stuff. Throw it in there. It soaks up all the scent from that. Throw it in your minnow bucket. It soaks up all of the minnow scent and stuff like that. So it's just an extra level of adding either finesse or power fishing and making your bait look really big. It's just another way of catching either finicky fish or super, go hard fish and active fish.
Well, no matter what, every little bit helps.
Mm-hmm.
It's an
easy trick to do.
Yeah, it's a little changes that can make or break your day. It's as simple as, all right, well, I have a 1 pound fluorocarbon leader on there, or maybe I need to go down to a half pound, leader. And it's some of those things that, really make or break your day. If you want to catch big fish, you're going to either have to go really, really small, or you're really going to have to go really big and obnoxious, and you're not going to catch anything on that. And next thing you know is you're pulling up 9-10 inch bluegills. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Look forward to it. I'm personally looking forward to ice fishing coming back. It's, Clam to me, shameless plug, for them being that they're a Midwestern company. I absolutely love supporting companies that are like right here, Minnesota, Wisconsin, all the time.
Yep.
So I'm glad to have you in.
Yeah,
glad to get the info
guys.
for you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Best of luck the rest of your your duck season, and
thank you.
good luck gun deer season. We get toward that, and ice fishing and everything going forward. We'll get on the ice this year. John and I have met. It's been a couple of years, and just never been able to hook up. And I've been away from fishing and everything for so many years with having my kid now.
Yeah.
But now I'm back. We'll get on the ice for sure.
Oh yeah,
this
for
winter,
sure,
some
for sure.
point in time. We'll drag you out, Tasker. He's like, I don't do
waiting
ice.
for that.
I don't do ice.
I don't know. It's not that I don't do it. I've done it a couple times. I'm like, meh.
Buffalo Trace.
That'll keep me warm for sure.
I'll bring the bottle.
Oh
You're good to go.
no, you
I'll be
can't do
there.
that. You got to do the Wisconsin staple, blackberry brandy for that one.
Yeah. Oh,
there
boy.
you go.
What is it? Something dog.
Please don't tell me you're saying Mad Dog 2020.
No.
All right. Bird Dog?
Bird dog. That stuff is so good.
Is that the peach whiskey? No.
They have a wide variety
Okay.
of it. But they've got like the blackberry, and they've got some of the other ones.
That's what they blackberries.
And
Bird Dog, yeah.
blackberry was the one that the 2 times that I have gone ice fishing, I've consumed that.
All right, good to know.
Help keep warm.
All right, Clam Pro Tackle, check them out. Is their new stuff hits the stores, coming out really soon, ahead of ice fishing season. Probably going to be gone before ice fishing season even gets going with the supply shortages and stuff going on. So thanks again, John, for coming to join us.
Yeah,
We
no
appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you.
Hey, how about this? Next weekend, the bow season opener in the state of Wisconsin. I know there's a few other states in and around the Midwest already opened up bow seasons, but whitetail deer are going to be in full effect, and that's what our show is going to be all about, whitetails. And I've actually got a test. I'm going to test the whitetail knowledge between Wags and Tasker coming on the show next week as we get everybody prepped and prepared, not just for with bow season, but gun deer season and everything that has to do with whitetails in the fall in and around the Midwest. So you can catch our show 7 o'clock Saturday mornings on our affiliate 97.3 The Game, unless, of course, there's an early Badger game. Then we get bumped to 6 o'clock. So just keep up with our Instagram. You're going to find out when we're going to be each week. It is at On the Tailgate. You can find me at The Real Ritter. That's REEL, as in fishing pole reel Ritter. ET5504 is my man Eric Tasker. For Tasker, Wags is out this week. I'm Shaun Ritter. This is Tailgate Talk. We'll catch you next week.